Welcome back to the show. They call me Monty. Today I'm here with a longtime friend, content creator, semi-pro overseas basketball player who in his last game had a 30-point triple-double. Who am I here with?
Joel, man. Last name Arzu. Thank you for having me on the show.
I've been watching your basketball journey since we were like 13, 14, 10 years in the making.
Yo, it's really been a long time.
Over a decade.
Yo.
We're from, our high school JV team to, your short stint on the varsity team.
Short stint is crazy. And you know what's really the craziest part about it too? I recently just Googled my name, and my very first game, you could find it on Google. It says Joel Arzu made his debut with 12 points and such and such. But yeah, it's really been a long time. That's crazy.
It's been a very long time. But you know what? I know you've played in like multiple like countries. So like, what countries have you played in?
So I've played in Mexico. And then my most recent country where my family is from, I play for my national team in Guatemala. Okay. So there's that. I'm supposed to be visiting a few countries later on this year, but until everything is set in stone, we'll keep that under wraps.
All right, so Mexico and Guatemala. So I know, being more, I guess you like your national teams, that keeps you closer to your roots. I believe you have a tattoo too with like Guatemala or something like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I got Livingston tatted right here on my wrist because that's where me and my family is from in Guatemala. It's called La Buga Livingston. And yeah, so I got that. And on the national team, when we're in our games, we can't wear wristbands. So instead of wearing a wristband of Livingston, I just got it tatted on me.
Okay, is there a reason you can't wear wristbands? Like you can do that shit in the air, right? Just wear wristbands. And shit.
Yeah, you can, but it's FIBA rules. They're different rules, so it's different.
Yeah, that's cool. So what's like your most memorable moment from like, one of your games?
You know what's crazy? Like, this memory is off the court. Okay. And it's more so of like the interaction of fans, like, like signing things, giving them things off my back or off my feet and things like that. Like those right there are moments that are gonna live like for the rest of my life in my head. And some of them are videotaped. Like those moments you can't take those back. And interactions with fans is probably like one of the main reasons why I play. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So the fans, like what's like the interaction with them? Do you get like a lot of like fan love, or is it like?
I definitely do get a lot of fan love, and there's time like being overseas because like they see me as American, like they don't off the rip immediately think I'm Guatemalan and things like that. So in a different country, being American is like one of the top things. Like everybody is fascinated with Americans. Cool. So like. It's amazing. Like, you get to walk down the street and people want to stop you to take pictures. People want to stop you to sign things and things like that. So it's really like a really, really good experience. So
cool. But so like the crowd, like what's the energy from the crowd like, and then even in like away games, I know you're a Spanish speaker, but even just like interacting with like other, like, cause you're in Spanish speaking countries, so had there ever been like any moments where like the crowd was like maybe like talking shit or like against maybe not even you but maybe a teammate or even just like anybody?
All the time. Because all the time, like even if it's not me, like my teammates, the fans are gonna look at us as Americans, so they're not gonna expect any one of us to, understand what they're saying and things like that. So, like when me and my team we huddling up and things like that, I tell them just as a motivation, like the crowd is talking this, that, like let's go out there and show them what you guys could do, like what we could do. So. It's really like a huge plus for me to be Hispanic and playing in Hispanic countries. I may not look the part, but best believe like if the crowd is talking that shit, I'm gonna know. I'm gonna know.
Right. So speaking about teammates, I guess we could like go back even like high school or any other experience, but like you could shout out some of your favorite teammates or who have been some of your favorite teammates currently.
My favorite teammates back in high school. And one of them I'm really still close with till this day is Vic. Like me and him, like we played varsity together for a few, obviously, with my short stint and things like that. But he was really like a really like uplifter in my basketball journey and things like that. Another one of my favorite players that I played with, Larry Moreno, also another player that does content as well. Shout out to Larry.
LCF.
And after that, most of my teammates, like pro teammates, like my most recent, I'll probably say my favorite player to play with was Bryce. Okay. Like he's from ATL and he joined me in my stint for Guatemala. Okay. Like he's about 6'6" and yeah, like Bryce is an amazing person off the court as well. So
that's cool. So who do you think is like your like skill wise the best teammate you've played with?
Skill wise, the best teammate, probably Larry. Probably Larry. Like outside of him being skillful, he was like a gym rat. Like him being in the gym, like he always wanted to keep his skills like better than everybody. So like yeah.
That's a fact. I even with like his content shit with Larry, I've seen that he like puts in a lot of work. I used to see him like every day on TikTok live, just like practicing his trick shots, even in the rain and shit. So I definitely admire that. Like
that kid is motivated. I give him that, bro.
Yeah, I definitely admire that about him. So I could see that translating, into his off court work and stuff like that too. So that's cool. Who do you think in the NBA is like your closest, like play style wise, skill wise? Like who would you compare yourself to as an NBA player?
I wouldn't really like compare myself to a single player. Okay. Like my game, I tried to mix in a lot of different different players and things like that. Like growing up, like obviously, like when I found out, I wasn't gonna be 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and things like that. Like you gotta look into the players who are about your height and what you can implicate their game with yours. So with that being said, like I try to implicate a few of Steph in my game and things like that. Another young riser who I feel like is going to be the MVP this year is SGA. Okay. I try to implicate some of his moves because as you can see, like like he may not be the fastest, but his craftiness is what gets him around. Crafty, and then. Like, there's so many NBA players, but I feel like those two are the ones that I really watch the most to like really implicate my game behind.
Okay, cool. So, I know you've always been like a lifelong, well, as long as I've known you've been a Curry fan. Yeah. So how do you feel about, like where he's at right now, his legacy and, he's still doing it at 37 years old. He just had like 36, 38 again in the playoffs against the Rockets and stuff. After they were saying a man is the Curry stopper and stuff. So like, how do you feel? Just like seeing like a decade later, Curry still being this dominant, and like even being like an early, supporter of him. How does it feel to be here?
10 years ago, he actually won his very first championship, and then
MVP.
Yeah, and MVP. So like. And then it's crazy because like within the 10 years that we've seen him play, he's only gotten better.
Yeah.
He's got like obviously within 10 years you obviously get stronger over the years. Your IQ of the game develops over the years and things like that. So like just watching him is just like it's unbeatable. Like you can't like that. That's a player who like you get tired just running around, just trying to catch up with him. And even as a fan of the game, like like I'm watching the game, so I even get tired watching other people chase him around the court. So it's just like with him, like Steph being 37 and still doing what he does is just like amazing. Like you can't. That's condition and that's part of the game. Like he really loves the game. So it's just him really just loving the game of basketball and wanting to continue to push to be better.
Yeah, I feel like that's what like separates Curry from like all these other point guards. Is just like his like dedication and his hard work, because he's not supposed to be here. He wasn't like highly touted out of college or anything like that. He's not supposed to be here, but he kept working. He kept becoming a better shooter, became faster off the ball. Became smarter, became stronger, just to prove himself. Just like so that like hard work just kind of like shows like not everybody can be as great as Curry.
Nah, absolutely. So. And then like with you being my lifelong friend, you know my stories. Like I done been on a varsity team, got back on, got kicked off and things like that. Like to be where I'm at today is a blessing, and I just wanna. I wake up every day just thanking God that I'm here. So.
That's a fact. So your first game overseas, like what was the emotions? What was going through your head? Like how what was going through your head?
I'm not even gonna lie. I was scared. I was scared on my ass.
Okay.
I think I sent the link in our group chat for y'all to watch. It was in Mexico. It was in Mexico. I was scared on my ass, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. But I think that was just like the pregame nerves.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I laced up my shoes and I got on the court, it was just all business. Like, you know, like I think I was just scaring myself.
Yeah.
And because like, you know, now I'm playing in a whole different country in front of a whole bunch of different fans and things like that. And me being who I am, I just wanted the people to like me for me.
Yeah.
And I think I was more so worried about that. So the minute I laced up my shoes and stepped on the court, I just got to doing what I do best, and which is hoop. So
that's a fuck. So just like having that, so it's almost like you could relate that to like imposter syndrome almost, you know, just like the pregame stuff is like, oh damn, I'm in a whole different country.
Yeah.
I'm finally here, playing a professional or semi-professional game at the very least. And it's just like, do I really belong here or whatever? But something that I've learned over like the past year or two is that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You would not be here if you were not ready, if you were not prepared, if you didn't put in the work for all that.
Absolutely.
Know? Exactly. So when you like stepped on the court and you was like, oh yeah, I'm here to hoop, this is what I do. You know, it's having that confidence. And then how much did you have in your debut?
My very first game in my debut for my professional career, I had 8.
Okay.
My very first point was a 3-pointer off the glass. That was my very first professional points. It was a very memorable moment. I still watch this video to this day. Like, you know, I'm really a pro or semi-pro, but I really watch that video to this day because that's another motivational like video for me because like you said, like, you know, you wouldn't be here if you didn't work for it. And as you know, I worked for this all like since we graduated high school. Like I've worked for this like my entire like the last 7 years. I worked for this for so long. So it's a blessing to be here. And like, you know, along with you and everybody else in my circle, you guys, like, you know, like we all gonna be ourselves. We all gonna do what we do. But like without a doubt, like you guys do support in any way possible. So
yeah, that's something like I've always admired about you. Like ever since high school, no matter what, you want to play basketball. You know, getting kicked off of varsity or whatever, you still pursued it. Not making the team in college. You know, just like you still continue to pursue basketball. And you made it happen.
Like I'm telling you, bro. Like my journey to get here is like no other. I'm not gonna say there aren't other people who haven't taken my journey, but like you said, you know, getting kicked off the team and things like that, like not getting any scholarships because of not playing in high school and things like that. Like I've really got here on the longest road than anybody else. So like we all trying to reach the same goal, but my path was just different. So
it's different.
It was just that.
So now that you are here and you are playing these games overseas, what do you bring in your bag to, you know, your pregame stuff? What do you bring to a game? I know you brought a bag with some of that stuff, so let's get into it. Let's see some of the stuff.
Nah, yeah, facts. So first things first, in my bag, well, it's not in my bag, it's outside of my bag. So it's a recent anime that I've been really hooked on, and as you can see, it's Luffy. This is a keychain, but I keep it on my bag, and I got this from a fan in Mexico. Like, she gave it to me after the game.
Well, you can put it in the camera.
And see Luffy? Yes, sir. So, yeah, she gave me this after a game, and I put it on. I've kept it on my bag ever since. So, yeah, and it's actually ironic because I really enjoy the anime. So, yeah. So obviously, when I'm in Mexico, I'm away. It's not my country and things like that. So most of my very first essential is always gonna be my headphones.
Okay, AirPod Maxes.
My AirPod Maxes, my headphones. Like, this is a beauty to me. I take it everywhere I go. Like, you know, the most important thing before a pregame is music. I feel like that's just what it is. Like, you know, music is what really calms you down. And you know, I'm not the rah-rah music, you know, not the all of it, but, you know, just like a little calm.
What's your go-to pregame song?
My go-to pregame song, I listen to a lot of A Boogie.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of A Boogie. Yeah,
Jungle,
like you know,
yeah.
like I really listen to a lot of A Boogie, and that's one of my favorite artists. So, like headphones, I always need, especially like with the long bus rides and the like the away games and things like that. Is the most hectic games because it's not your home. So headphones for sure. Another very important piece that I bring with me now is my tripod.
Okay.
I bring my tripod because, as we introduced earlier, I am a content creator, so I try to catch as much like basketball videos that I can. And this is a very good item to have with you when you're traveling, especially when you don't have a photographer. Another important piece of technology is my laptop.
Okay.
So obviously you guys know with away games, you're probably driving with at least like maybe 2-3 hours max and things like that, and you don't want to waste the battery on your phone. So you either have your iPad or your laptop, and I happen to have my laptop, and I use this to watch Netflix, Hulu, like Amazon Prime, whatever the case may be, whatever I'm feeling in that very moment. My iPad is gonna help me with that.
What kind of laptop? Oh, that's an iPad you said, right? Or a laptop?
Nah, it's a laptop,
Okay.
my Mac.
Okay.
And for you guys to see how much of a fan I am,
Got the one piece.
I know you guys see that. I know y'all see that. So, yeah, my MacBook is another very important piece of technology that I bring with me. And yeah,
You be editing videos on it too.
yeah, most of my videos, I do edit on my laptop, and I started editing on my phone as well. Toothpicks.
Okay.
I bring this with me because when you eat before your pregame, you don't want the meat or whatever the case, whatever. Pause. You don't want whatever you have eaten to be stuck in your teeth and things like that. It could be a bother and things like that. So toothpicks is another essential that I bring. Chargers. You gotta go everywhere with your charger.
Nowadays, right?
If you go nowhere without your charger and you end up with a dead phone or any of the devices is dead, I'm sorry, but you can't use mine. Mine's is for me and me only. Like that's just what it is. So right before we start warming up and doing our stretches and things like that before a game, I always bring my cocoa butter with me.
Okay.
I always bring my cocoa butter with me because
Moisturized.
yeah, you gotta stay moisturized,
moisturized.
things like that. Like, it could be whatever the case may be, I'm bringing this. Before and after a game, because obviously, like, especially if you're away, like, you don't got the immediate showers and things like that. So, especially before and after a game, I do bring my deodorants. Like, this is probably the most important thing in my bag besides my wallet. But, yeah, other than that, those are my essentials that I bring with me when I'm going away for a game. So, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying deodorant is the most important. So what's your top 3 in that bag? Like most important.
Top
thing?
3? Headphones, charger, deodorant.
Okay.
Headphones, charger, and deodorant. Like, I could be on the bus without my laptop. Because again, I'm gonna have my phone and I could just watch it on my phone. So that's just it is what it is. The deodorant. Come on, bro. Especially in third world countries like that, it's very hot. Come on, you can't be musty, bro. You can't. You just can't do that, bro. And then what else did I say? The charger. Oh yeah.
Phone charger.
Yeah. Like, come on. That's essential. Like, that's probably the most essential thing in this bag. Because without that, everything else in the bag is dead.
That's what's up. Right. Cool. So you can. So what has been like your favorite food that you had, like either Mexico or Guatemala, while you were, over there? Or some of your favorite foods,
So I gotta give it to Mexico.
Okay.
I was in Mexico for a month last year, and I had this specific burrito. I don't want to try to pronounce the name because I feel like it's just not gonna come out right, but it definitely was one of the my favorite things that I've ate, and I had it pretty much every single day, bro.
What's in the burrito?
It was avocados. Okay. It was avocados, tomatoes, and surprisingly, I don't like tomatoes, but it like I think just the fruits and vegetables coming from a country like that, knowing that just it's grown freshly, then you know like it is what it is. So so it had avocados, tomatoes. Like I said, I don't want to try to pronounce the meat that was in there, but it was really good. That she did her thing with the lime, put it on there, and it was really really good. Along with that, there's a drink that people in Mexico drink a lot, and it's called Jamaica.
Jamaica. Yeah,
it's called Jamaica. I don't know the English term for it, but it's really good. Like it's literally it's literally just the fruit, and that's it. It's literally just the fruit. Like it has no sugar. It has no other.
So just like blended up.
Yeah, it's just blended up. Okay. It's just straight fruit, and it is amazing, bro. That shit is amazing.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Okay. And you say, well, you say you don't know the English.
Yeah, I don't know the English term for it.
But like, what kind of, like, what does it taste like?
I don't even know. This is good.
Okay, this is good.
This is good. Yo.
Right,
this is good.
And then in Guatemala, what were some of your favorite foods? Well, that's like your home country, so it's kind of, you probably like eat that like regularly. So
I eat that. I eat whatever is being made regularly. Like like my family's from there. My mom is gonna cook whatever from there, so I eat that like pretty much every day. Like at this point, that's people say that's how I got my height. All the home cooked food.
Okay. That's cool. So nothing like you haven't had at home. You had in Guatemala for the first time, or?
Nah.
Okay.
Because if my mom don't make it, 9 out of 10 my family around us is gonna make it, and like we all gonna have like some type of event where we are attending, and the food is gonna be there. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's get more into your content creation. All right. So this year, you was doing it. I remember years ago, you was posting shit on the gram. Wow. Okay, Siri. I remember years ago you were posting videos on the gram, but you just started back this year trying to. I know the whole month of January and probably February, like every day you were posting a video. So like, what inspired you to get back into doing that?
My number one inspiration to getting back into it, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, is like when we went to that event with Zoe. We went to that event with Zoe and we was doing the YouTube thing. And then obviously, like with us growing up with her, we already knew she was funny. So it was just like, look, bro, like I know and like. For the people who don't know, in our PlayStation party, we have a lot of funny people in our PlayStation party, but we just don't put it on camera. So again, after going to that YouTube thing with Zoe and like putting to my mind like, look, we're funny as well. We're funny in our own way. Just put it on camera, and then ever since then, January 4th was the start date, and up until today, I'm still going. So.
Cool. Yeah. For those of y'all who don't know, we were in it was like Push the Button or some video, but we were the last 2 people in the first round. If you guys want to like go back and like see that.
Yeah. If you guys want to go back and watch that, go on Zoe's YouTube. Is up there. But yeah, that was a really like fun experience. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, that's definitely But I think just like like to your point, Zoe's like very inspiring because she comes from where we come from. And just like definitely like. Put in the way she like positioned herself, networking with different people and just like seeing we seen her from like the start to like where she is now, similar to like I see you from the start of your basketball career to where you are now, just like that same kind of dedication, and she's going crazy. Even like that was like a year ago that we were at that video show. Now she's just even bigger. Now she's like
making music,
making music too, music videos. Remember we was in the were you there when she performed the song in the club?
Yes. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. One thing we should have went to, honestly, was probably like that video shoot in Coney.
The video shoot in Coney, yeah. But she came there for that. We didn't even know she was gonna be there.
That was just so great. Yo, shout out Zoe. I ain't even gonna lie. Shout out to you. Like you doing your big one. I ain't even gonna lie. If you do happen to see this, like you doing your big one, bro. Like you really it.
It's a fact. But just like have that the same way I feel about, like Kai, like we seen Kai on Facebook, posting on Facebook. Like, to me, Kai is still that little nigga from Facebook, just like going crazy, being mad loud and shit. Now he's arguably the biggest black content creator in the world, which is just like mad inspiring. He comes from where we come from, New York City too, even though it's the Bronx, but it's still like all
New
that.
York stand up.
Yes, so yeah, we going crazy. We going crazy, we up next to, all that too. We just gotta stay dedicated and disciplined and all that too. So
No, that's a fact. Like, for you, bro, just block out the noise, bro.
that's fuck.
Just block out the noise. Like, obviously, especially with what I'm doing now, I've always been told, like, if you don't got no haters, you ain't doing it. You doing something wrong. So, and you, like, for me, the people that's gonna dislike me are the away teams, but
Yeah.
that comes with the game. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's a fact.
You're not gonna get love from everybody, but you're definitely gonna get hate from a lot of people. But the people that do show love and the people that do show support, those are the people you stick around. So
Right, definitely. All right, cool. So now we're gonna do some quick fire questions. So you
hit me.
All right. So you could, I guess if you want to elaborate on more, but it's usually like this or that, But,
Yeah.
So first one is Nike or Adidas.
Nike.
Okay.
Nike.
If you had to do a tournament, 3v3 or 5v5, which one would you rather? Just for like the same like prize money too. Which one would you rather do, 3v3 or 5v5?
I'd rather do 3v3, and here's why. Like, are we doing 3v3 full court still?
No.
All right. So the 3v3 you could do half court, and it saves stamina. You don't do the running back and forth, and then also with the 3v3 is more spacing. So I'll do 3v3.
Okay. Would you rather spend the night in the gym or in the club?
I'd rather spend the night in the gym. In the gym, without a doubt. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, like going to the club is cool and all and things like that. But with what I'm trying to do in my life, I'd rather spend the night in the gym.
Summer or winter?
I had this debate with one of my friends, and me personally, I'm gonna choose the summer because the country I come from is nothing but nothing but heat. Like, we barely get any rain, and there's no winter, so I'm used to the heat. But if we were talking about like how we like to dress, I like the winter.
Yeah,
I like the
better,
winter.
yeah. I definitely like winter trip better.
Yeah, for
I feel
sure.
like summer is like too like
It's
simple.
just too simple. Shorts, a shirt, and your shoes. But when it comes to the fall and the winter, now you get to have your hoodies, your sweats, and things like that. You actually get to like put it on. So for sure.
And that's the only reason I like fall and winter, honestly. But like for me, definitely summer. Would you rather get an ankle breaker on somebody or dunk on somebody?
I'd rather get a poster. Okay. I'd rather get a poster because I've done it before, literally once in my life, and it was in a park. It was in a park, but I've crossed people, but I've never like dropped anyone. So I'll stick with the poster. I'll stick with the poster for sure.
So would you rather cross somebody and miss the shot, or missed a poster?
I'd rather cross somebody and miss a shot. Okay. Because missing a poster, I feel like that's probably like, well, it's a higher percentage shot than the jump shot. So I'll definitely stick with the cross somebody and miss the jump shot.
I don't know, nigga. Fucking Ant and Ja had some crazy missed posters though. I ain't gonna lie. Oh no.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true. Even that one Ant having the nigga caught the charge, you feel me?
Yeah.
That shit's still crazy. Niggas still talk about that shit. So
yeah.
This one's probably like I guess an obvious one, but road games or home games?
So you people are expecting me to say home games, but I will say road games.
Okay, right.
I'm only gonna say road games only because the intensity of the building is higher.
Okay. And you feed off that intensity.
Exactly. Like the intensity in the building is higher. Like, it's a weight game. The people want you to come in there and lose. They want you to come in there, perform bad and things like that. And then obviously, you know, like, let's just say, for example, the game is tied and my team decides to hit a layup or hit a big-time gym shot. It silences the crowd. Like, you know, you love things like that. Like, things like that, you feed over them. So I definitely will say road games for sure.
Even last night, you know, you see the shot Brunson made away, all that shit, silence the crowd.
Like, come on, bro. Come on, son.
At the crowd going like that. That shit was tough. So I ain't gonna lie. That should be tough.
Created so much space. But
Are you a trash talker or you let your game speak for itself?
it kind of depends on the day that I'm having before the game. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, let's just say it's one of those days where I'm arguing with friendship before the game.
Frustrated.
I'm frustrated. I'm already, you know, like, I'm frustrated. Now you in my ear talking that bullshit. I'm gonna talk my bullshit back. Like, you know, it is what it is. But other than that,
on the regular, you just
Okay,
so what's the craziest piece of trash talk you said or that you've received?
The craziest piece of trash talk I ever spoken to somebody was at the free throw line in Mexico.
Okay.
The opposite team was shooting the free throw, and the guy was talking to me. But mind you, like, I was surprised because I was surprised because he was speaking to me in English, and we exactly. So I was surprised, and he was like, "You can't fucking guard me," and then I was like, and I told him, I'm like, you and everybody in this country can't fuck with me. So that was that. Other than that, I've had a lot of people talk shit to me, but I can't rank it because a lot of people be saying some grimy shit. I ain't even gonna lie, but I can't rank it though.
That remind me of remember Kobe was like talking shit to Luka in his language, and Luka looked over and Luka like, who's talking?
Yeah, he was like, who's talking? Yeah, exactly. Word. Yeah.
Well, I think we should wrap it up there. You know, Joel, appreciate you. You know, being on this show. And, you know, just like your dedication and hard work and stuff. Let the people know where they could, you know, find you on social media and stuff, and you know where they could possibly watch your games.
I appreciate you for having me. Like, you know, you taking the time out your day to do this, you know, it's very appreciated. If you guys can follow me on Instagram at IamJust_Joe. It will be placed right here under this. My TikTok, I believe, is the same exact thing. I am just Joe. And for further videos, just follow me on there, and you guys will see everything that I do, whether it's content or basketball.
Right.
Other than that,
cool. Appreciate you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more content from both me and Joe. And we out. That me up, bro. All right, we out.